Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take. This is Glacier of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone, and I'm recording this really late and not my usual spot. I'm going to be completely honest about why. My lovely wife has decided that she absolutely must watch the VMAs today, but that won't stop us. Despite being in a really awkward position to do this video, I've got some absolutely killer decks for you. I've got proven awesome decks. I think what I have right now is one of the best Alioth decks, or at least the shell of what will be one. I've got an absolutely incredible Silver Samurai deck that's been taking multiple people to infinite, getting those infinity borders, and I've got a secret deck that I just started playing that's been kicking butt. It needs more testing before I'm willing to swear by it, but there's something here. It's another Alioth deck, though. So hopefully you're into some Alioth, you got some Silver Samurai love in you, and we're going to talk about some new decks. Before we go any further, I'd like to invite you to subscribe. We do at least 2 decks every single weekday here on this channel. These are new decks that you will not find on other channels. They help you get infinite. They help you get those infinity borders. They help you reach your goals in Marvel Snap. We give you play lines, we give you card replacements, everything you could possibly need. Hopefully you find value in that, and if you don't, hopefully at least some of you still need Loki. If you do, we're still giving away 10 Loki season passes this Friday. All you have to do is subscribe and comment any video for the past week up through Thursday's videos. There will be 2 videos tomorrow. As long as you do that, you are entered to win a free Loki. You have to watch Friday's video to know if you won. Sorry, but as long as you do that, you'll be all set. All good? You ready to get to some decks? Let's talk some decks. If you are Mamichu or Tekker, pause, read this slide. Our deck credits for the day are Peaceful Sea, Kraken Null, and Deck. Peaceful Sea is Peaceful Sea TTV. You can type Peaceful Sea Snap into YouTube and find Peaceful Sea. Peaceful Sea is a phenomenal creator, excellent person, great production values, great ideas, awesome deck builder, and worth checking out. Peaceful Sea is a Thanos stan and often plays really great Thanos builds, while Kraken Null is mostly on Twitter under the name Kraken Null, and he basically is like the best move player that you don't think of because everyone knows move, right? Kraken Null is every bit the move player, but he has also seemingly cracked a completely new deck. Something that Den and I were trying to work on, not like together, although Den and I do work together on decks. Sometimes we weren't on this one. We were both trying to crack sort of how to make a Silver Samurai thing work with cards like Darkhawk and Iron Man, and Kraken Null completely cracked the deck. Like, the deck is cracked. It's wide open. This is the build. We've also got my third deck. I'm just going to tell you what it is if you're interested. It's a Hulk Wave that's also running Alioth, and I keep dominating with it. And there's an alternate play line that's absolutely crushing everyone with it that I want to talk to you about. I also want to get some of the viewers to test this because the deck is doing so freaking well in my hands. I'm starting to feel like maybe like I'm like psyching myself up. But we'll get there. Let's get there. Let's get there. Our first deck is Peaceful's Alioth Thanos. This is a really, really, really mean deck. Alioth sort of takes the place of Spider-Man in the original versions of this type of lockdown list. Instead, we have Alioth to basically guarantee a lane win, just like Spider-Man used to. Before we go too far into the deck, I'd like you to know, just in general, that almost all of the decks here, I might have missed 1 or 2 here or there, are the variants I use for the cards, which means yesterday this Hip Onslaught showed up and I bought the crap out of it. Everything else you've seen before if you've been on the channel. But I love Dan Hip art, and that Onslaught looks amazing. I'm so happy to have it. I also opened for Hip Jeff last week because, again, Hip is the best. The basics of this deck are you want to try and get a lockdown or a really powerful card out on turn 4, using Psylocke and Timestone to do that, which means please don't play them before turn 3. On turn 5, you're dropping an Iron Man in a random lane, or you're dropping Claw. You can drop Double Dino, I don't super urge you to. Or ideally, you drop Professor X and just win a lane. You're dropping that on top of stones, and then you've got like Jeff or Claw to help you win that lane if you really need to. Then turn 5, you can do whatever little commitment you need to win that lane. Or you can drop something like powerful and dangerous, right? Like you drop a Devil Dino. Then either on top of that Devil Dino if you have priority, or in the other lane if you don't have priority, you drop Alioth. And then Alioth wins you the game. and then you smile. Nice and simple, right? You can also, if you dropped Iron Man on 5 and then Professor X on 6, or vice versa, drop Onslaught on that Iron Man for a nice 28 power lane. You can make your Devil Dino be like 25 power that way too. It ends up winning a lot of games of Snap. Onslaught ends up really good. A lot of people want to cut him. There's games where he really feels terrible in the deck, but when he's works, he sure does work. All right. Jeff is okay as Nightcrawler if you absolutely have to. You will miss out on I'm gonna flip back so you can see. You will miss out on the Jeff Professor X thing. You can also probably make Jeff Daredevil for the turn 5. Alioth is what makes this tier 1. It'll be a playable deck with either Arrow or Legion in that spot, maybe Vision, but I don't think it's nearly as good. So I think you really, really want Alioth. So far, so good. Turn by turn. Your job is to lock a lane and then claim another with the Angry Cloud Alioth. So turn 1 and 2, you're focused on drawing with your stones. Mind Stone is almost always a snap, although it's not post-infinite. I've got an article tomorrow coming out on Marvel Snap Zone that's going to talk about post-infinite and how you need to think about the game differently. But for now, know that like on Conquest and on Ladder, I think the Mind Stone is a snap, but post-infinite, I don't think it is. I don't think that like it's the correct play to snap on Mind Stone post-infinite. But Conquest and Ladder, I think it is. You want to draw. You're going to draw with everything but Time Stone. Please, please, please do not play Time Stone. Yes, you can blow reality. Yes, you can blow space early. Sometimes that's going to bite you, but drawing is hugely important for this deck. Turn 2, you want to play draw cards or Jeff. You're okay with Arm, but you don't really want to play it. You'd much rather draw. Turn 3, you're going to Time Stone or Psylocke, and if you play either of those cards, please do yourself a favor and snap. If your opponent waves that turn, at this point, they're going to Galactus. So, like, your Time Stone or Psylocke should probably go into a Devil Dino, wherever the hell they're going to Galactus, right? Short of that, feel free to drop Professor X somewhere if you can. If you can't Professor X, drop a powerful 5. I prefer that 5B. Claw or Iron Man to Devil Dino, because Devil Dino that early is usually just inviting a Shang, unless you already have an armor up. You snap before you Professor X, you snap before you drop that powerful 5, you snap before you Time Stone. Make sure you're snapping around then if you're not snapping on Mind Stone basically ever, because you need to lock them in, because once you Professor X, if they're smart, they're probably leaving. If you didn't Professor X turn 4 and you can turn 5, you almost always do, as long as you have one lane that you're relatively confident you're winning, or you're relatively confident you're going to win that Professor X lane. If you win the Professor X lane, Alioth or Onslaught on either Devil Dino or Iron Man is usually going to win you the game. So, like, do it. Wave is also great here if you Professor X'd on turn 4. Like, you don't have to drop a powerful 5 here. If you've got a lane that you think you can get ahead in just by a little bit, or be close in with Wave, and you can keep priority by doing so, then Wave here, especially with, like, a Power Stone, to get 6 power worth of stats. And then that'll get you priority for your Alioth, so they can't doom you or do any other BS. You kill them before they reveal, and you enjoy yourself. If not Alioth, you drop whatever's big. Sometimes that's Iron Man. Sometimes that's Claw to like steal a couple lanes with extra power. Sometimes that's Devil Dino, etc. Hopefully you get the idea. One last look at the deck with my pretty variants. Hoping for I refuse to buy that armor variant. It's just not quite different enough from the original. But I need a Psylocke, an armor, and a Claw. The best Claw is 1,200 gold, but I don't like Claw enough to buy it, so we'll get there. Also, longtime viewers, how you doing? Please do me a favor. Let me know if you like my little variant chats that I've been doing at the end. I've just been trying to think more about them. This is my favorite Thanos. Not my favorite America, but it's the one I'm going to use just because I have it and it's good enough. It's gold and sparkly. I really, really love this Iron Man. This is the cutest Devil Dino because look at his little scarf. Jeff is the best, and obviously the hips are the best. And I think this is probably the best Professor X, just because like it's got so much going for it with the tiny little Magneto. It's adorable. All right, let's move on to deck 2, so I'm not keeping you here all day. Y'all ready? Deck 2 is Kraken Nulls. He calls this Jund Daywalker, and this deck is stellar. It's got a Darkhawk package, as you can hopefully see. The Darkhawk package, for anyone who's new here, hey, thanks for watching. The Darkhawk package is Korg, Zabu, Rock Slide, and Dark Hawk. It is those 4 cards. Very often with Shang-Chi, you will note that there is no Shang-Chi here. But these 4 cards are joined by Snow Guard, who gives you the space you need to play cards, or doubles up and just wins you a location sometimes with that bear. Blade, which gives you basically an extra Silver Samurai trigger or black. So for your Ghost Rider, that you can target perfectly for all of one, which is amazing. You've got Rock Slide for disruption. Whatever, you know the Dark Hawk. If you've been playing for any amount of time and you don't know the Dark Hawk package, please let me know. I will happily talk you through the Dark Hawk package. But like it should be self-explanatory. You go Zabu, you go Rock Slide. You play Korg if you can. Then last turn you have what amounts to a 3/12 to play, and it's just phenomenal stats. So you've got Silver Samurai. Silver Samurai is amazing disruption. It hits all sorts of great stuff on the opponent side. Yesterday I hit a collector before they dropped it, and there's just chef's kiss. Like it's a game-winning card. It's extraordinarily powerful. So I'm a big Silver Samurai fan. Silver Samurai is like one of my earlier plays here, and Silver Samurai and Blade set up your Ghost Rider. If Silver Samurai hits your Iron Man, so all of a sudden your Ghost Rider is a 4/3 that brings back a 5/0 that doubles that location's power. It's pretty damn good. It can also bring back that Dark Hawk, pretty damn good. Black Bolt gives you a 1/6 stature, so does Silver Samurai. Either way, trigger stature. 1/6 is just about the best 1-drop in the game outside of Kitty. One's pretty damn close to Kitty. While America offers consistency and 1 extra play, we'll talk about when we get to the play-by-play. So Darkhawk package is a must here. If you don't have Darkhawk, I'm not sure you can do this. So with Silver Samurai, like the deck is literally built around Silver Samurai. I don't even know what else you could try. Snow Guard could be like Shadow King, but you're still gonna need stature. Sorry. This section sucks for this deck. Usually I have a lot of replacements, but this is just kind of an expensive deck. And by expensive, I mean Snow Guard is 3,000 tokens, Abu is 3,000 tokens, Darkhawk is 3,000 tokens. That's 9 right there, right? Stature is 3,000, we're at 12, and Silver Samurai is Silver Samurai 3? No, he's 6, right? So we're at 18,000 tokens for this deck. I am really sorry. I try not to make this every deck, but this deck is like powerful enough that for my end game players, it like stomps out Loki pretty damn well. Although again, Shadow King might be necessary for that. Because this deck is so powerful, I had to bring it to my end game players. Like you need to try this deck or a version of this deck. Okay, play by play. So Korg is your ideal play on turn 1. If not, you're perfectly fine playing Snow Guard. Snap, again, my snap strategy is for pre-infinite and conquest, not necessarily post-infinite. I think that strategy changes. Maybe I'll just do a video going over all of that. You snap on Zabu, as long as you have a Rock Slide or Samurai to follow. You really want your Samurai to chuck Iron Man. You're fine if it chucks Darkhawk, but it makes your mon a little awkward some games. Iron Man is like fairly ideal. Turn 4, you Rock Slide or Samurai, whichever you didn't have. If you Samurai'd on 3, Ghost Rider is perfectly fine here. Look, Enchantress isn't really in the meta. Rogue isn't really in the meta. You're relatively safe just bringing Iron Man back and challenging them to threaten you in that lane, saying, I'll just go over the top of you. Don't even dare. Very often the opponent will just concede that Iron Man lane because it's really hard to do that now. Turn 5, you'd like to Black Bolt, and if you didn't Black Bolt, Iron Man is perfectly fine. Don't stress that. There are times when dropping like a Rock Slide and Zabu is right. Don't hesitate to do that if you know that you're going to want to play an extra 4 at the end of the game, especially if that extra 4 is going with like a Ghost Rider, right? Like if you're playing Darkhawk and Ghost Rider, making sure you get Zabu out seems good. Turn 6, you want to Blade plus Stature plus Ghost Rider. So Blade on turn 6 is always going to hit America Chavez, unless something weird happens, right? So like you're getting Blade is 3, Stature is 6, so that's 9, right? We're assuming you Black Bolted or Samurai earlier. And then Ghost Rider is bringing back your America Chavez most of the time. So that's 9 power plus 3 power, that's 12, plus 6 is 18, plus 3 is 21. 21 power last turn, not bad at all, especially because you can split it up as necessary. You can also just do Ghost Rider Darkhawk or Silver Samurai and Ghost Rider, which is amazing. There's a lot of powerful stuff you can do. Just go off. America Chavez is really great with that Blade combo in this deck. In addition to the consistency of like Zabu is really good on 2. But again, like look at this deck quickly. Zabu is also really good on 5. If you got a Silver Samurai off on 4, for one of your zeros, right? A Zabu and Rock Slide is fine. A Zabu Snow Guard and Korg is fine. A Zabu and one of the Snow Guard cards in Korg are fine. Like these are all fine ways to spend your turn 5. Don't hesitate. You just want to make sure you get Zabu if you want to do Zabu things in the last turn. Sometimes you won't. Wave is back in the meta. When you do see Wave, you will not do it. And again, these are my variants. It took me 4 to get Alioth, which sucks, but I did get this really cool Snow Guard, so I'm not super sad. I've, of course, got the hip Korg here. Unfortunately, that is my only hip. I'm still trying to manifest Zabu showing up into my shop. This is like my most wanted card right now, the hip Zabu. This is just a blade I happened to open. I bought the Silver Samurai. I happened to open that Iron Man. I think it's pretty good. I still don't have a Black Bolter stature. I wish I bought the hip stature back when I saw it, but I didn't. And this is the best Rock Slide and Dark Rock in the game. So pretty satisfied there. I'm waiting for a Ghost Rider. I will probably end up buying Robbie Reyes next time I see him, because I think Robbie Reyes is a cooler character than Dan Ketch or whatever other nonsense. Johnny Blaze. All right, that's my little variant talk again. Let's get to the last deck, the quote-unquote secret deck. Except we sort of already talked about it. This deck has been kicking all sorts of ass for me. I sent it to my Discord. It's kicking all sorts of ass there. It is really hard to beat. Not necessarily as good in the mirror, but really hard to beat. It does not like Killmonger. It can struggle with Killmonger, particularly if it doesn't see the obvious Killmonger answer, armor. If you are willing to just take the loss to decks running Killmonger, and only Destroy is running Killmonger right now, right? So, like, if you are willing to take that loss to those decks, and you can still beat Destroy just fine, it just sort of requires Storm and Alioth. You can change armor for Shocker. Shocker is phenomenal in this deck. So basically, Sunspot, Nebula, and Misty are really, really cool cards. They add power without you having to do a whole lot, but be on the board. Armor helps protect them. Jeff gets into your Storm lane if you need it to, and is Jeff, so it's just a good card to have around. Wave is a 5-drop. Ignore that she says 3 on her. Actually, this is, I guess, the one deck where she's not always a 5-drop. We'll get to that. Cyclops usually wins you the Storm lane, not always, but usually. And between Jeff, Cyclops, and Claw, you basically guarantee yourself that lane. And then if you can guarantee yourself that lane, Alioth wins you another, or Hulk wins you another by being ginormous, as long as you have either of those. Nice and simple, right? Nothing complicated happening here. All right, Nebula can be Shocker, Jeff can be Nightcrawler, and you can alter those as need be. You're gonna need High Evolutionary. Alioth can be Doom, but if you are making that change, then Claw becomes America, because you don't really want Doom and Claw. And America then is your consistency piece. If you're feeling spicy and don't want America and have the card, Iron Lad is always really great in this kind of build. There's certainly a Daredevil for this version, and I guess if you guys want that build, I'll just throw it together really fast. Here's that build. I use different versions of the variants that I have for it. So, like, this should work really well. I'm not going to break this down because, like, this is literally untested. As I was thinking through these decks, I just sort of ended up making this one because it seemed cool. I cut Sunspot because you're usually only getting like one energy at a time with him, and he's not that good. Misty does most of the same job in the deck. Nebula basically can steal a Storm or Professor X lane all by herself, so I didn't want to cut her. Daredevil lets you know where to Professor X, or if you would rather Professor X, Claw, or Wave, because now you have 3 options, and Daredevil letting you know which of the 3 is best for you is amazing. You can just win games on turn 5 if you won a Storm lane with Cyclops, and then you can get a Professor X off. Like, your opponent is completely freaking screwed. You're gonna win that game, right? I mean, I guess, no, it's really hard to lose. I guess they can, like, Nimrod bullshit you out, but, like, Hulk should be able to go over the top of that reasonably well with any kind of, like, plan here. So, yeah, this should work really well. If anyone wants to try this one out and let me know in the comments too, I'd also appreciate that. But the other one is reasonably well tested at this point and has been winning. This is a straight up cold new deck. So let me know. Okay. Turn by turn for the real deck. We're back to like this deck, the first deck we talked about. We've got turn 1 of Nebula, Misty, or Sunspot. And then you play one of the other ones, or you can, wrong way. Or you can drop armor. You know the drill at this point. Turn 3, you want to Storm and Snap. However, if you have armor out, let's say you on turn 2 armored, it is a reasonable play here to wave into Hulk. Everyone's going to think you're going to drop Galactus, which is A, hilarious, and B, fine, and then you just drop a Hulk on 4. Turns out that's fine, it's perfectly protected by armor. If you did the storm thing, then you're playing Cyclops, like you always do. Turn 5, you can play wave and 1-drops, or just drop Claw at that point. So now you've got like Hulk who's rowing in one lane, right? And then you've got Claw in another lane, and then or wave to like slow them down, and then the last turn, wherever they're gonna try and go over the top of you, Alioth just closes out that lane. It's really sweet. I've done it a bunch of times now. I didn't think I would ever really do it. I've been waving on 3 and 4 a reasonable amount with this deck when I can read what my opponent's doing, especially if they're doing something like Galactus, right? And I know I can just like alley off that shit away if they only have one lane. Or like I know I can just drop Hulk there and just eat their Galactus and win the game. It's been really, really strong. That's the secret play I was talking about at the beginning. Like I basically have been telling everyone forever, you only ever wave on 5. Wave is fundamentally a 5. Not in this deck. In this deck, if you've got armor, wave is often a 4. And, wave is often a 3. Or sometimes it's even a 4. Right? Like, a lot of people are running armor, and they run armor, and you just can, like, drop a Hulk there and just be like, all right, let's go. Go bigger than me with your breath. And sometimes they can, sometimes they can't, right? Like, but now you're making them think about it. Now, like, they see your Hulk, they know you're probably not running Shanks. Sometimes they Shuri in a different place. That happened earlier. Someone ended up Shuriing in the left lane because I dropped a Hulk in their armor lane. I wasn't sure if I could go over the top of them, but I was willing to try because, like, you add that, you add a little bit of Claw, you add a little bit of other stuff. You know what I mean? Cyclops away a couple points here and there. We're right on track. We're right on track to taking that lane over. So they ended up waving in another location. I figured, screw you, take your Hulk lane. I'll just play Red Skull and Taskmaster elsewhere. So they dropped Shuri, right? And then when they dropped Shuri, I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna play Alioth here. I played Alioth. I killed our Red Skull before it even revealed. And like, now what's your Taskmaster do? It's a win. If you can reach your opponent at all, this deck is insanely strong. This is the deck one last time. You'll note my lovely Den Hit variant, as always. This is my favorite Storm. I know they gave it to us, but I love it very much. I really enjoy this Hulk. I think it's got very good Hulk energy. Nice Jim Lee Cyclops. I don't love all the Jim Lee art. It's before he got really like good at art, but it's cool. This is my favorite wave. I have the hip wave, but I do like this one, and I ended up buying it. That is my favorite Misty by a lot, and this Sunspot is cool. I'm not sure if I like it or the Twitch drop one better, but both Sunspots are really good. Like almost all the Sunspot variants are really good, which is great because I don't know if you know this, so Sunspot's an absolutely phenomenal character. All right, that's going to be today's video. Hopefully you found value. If you watched this long, you might as well subscribe. We do a video like this every day with at least 2 new decks. Tomorrow, I promise you no less than like 20 decks. We got a deal? 20 decks, hit sub, leave a comment. You won't be disappointed that you did. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Peace.